Welcome to Learntoflyfish. My name is Mike Thompson. I'm a certified casting instructor, and today we're going to talk about how to cast a narrow loop roll cast and a wide loop roll cast, and when do we want to use a narrow loop versus a wide loop. So let me just go over here. I'm going to set up and I'm going to cast a narrow loop, talk a little bit about that, and then a wide loop, and tell you the reasons for wanting to know how to cast a wide loop also. So I've set my line up in the fly casting tool that I use on the grass. And if you haven't seen my roll cast video, I suggest you go back and watch that. But right now I'm going to do a narrow loop roll cast. This is a narrow loop. And the reason I want to cast a narrow loop, there's multiple reasons. But if I'm fishing a single fly and I want accuracy, say I want to hit that seam, I'm going to want a narrow loop. It's going to be less affected by the wind. It's going to be much more accurate. So you want to know how to cast a narrow loop roll cast. Now, a wide loop in comparison, let me show you a wide loop. This is a wide loop in comparison to the narrow. How did I cast a narrow loop versus a wide loop? Well, it all has to do with when I really speed up the rod before the stop. So it's when I apply the force. To cast a narrow loop, I delay the application of force. So when my rod, if I have a clock off my right shoulder, when my rod hits about 12 o'clock, I really speed up, and I mean I step on the gas, and I make a nice abrupt stop at about 10:30. It looks like this. Slow, 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 fast. Okay, that gives me a narrow loop. So in contrast to the narrow loop, in the wide loop, I'm going to start with my rod tilted back a little further, maybe at about 2 o'clock in this case, and I'm going to apply the force sooner in my casting stroke. So I want to start speeding up the rod right away. That's going to make my rod tip travel in a convex path, and that's going to give me a wider loop. Now, when do I want to cast a wider loop? Well, I'm going to want to cast a wider loop when I have multiple flies that I'm fishing. If I'm fishing with a little indicator or heavy flies or a dry dropper, I want a wider loop to help prevent my line from tangling. So a wider loop looks like this. I'm going to start back further. I'm going to apply the force sooner, and I'm going to get a wider loop, like so. So that's the narrow loop and the wide loop roll cast. When you want to use the narrow loop, the wide loop, and how to cast the narrow loop versus the wide loop. I hope that helps. If you haven't seen my roll cast video, I would just suggest you go watch that. That's going to tell you where to set up your tool, your roll cast tool if you're casting on the grass. If you're casting on the water, it doesn't matter. But get good at the roll cast. It's a very valuable cast to have in your pocket. Thanks for watching.